So what do you actually do for a living? I'm not asking about your job title or daily tasks. I mean, what do you really create or contribute? This might be an easy question for some, but if you're a middle manager in human resources at an insurance company, it could be trickier to answer. You know, in the last century, service jobs exploded. They went from less than a quarter of all jobs to nearly 80%. When we say service jobs, we often think of baristas, retail workers, or hotel staff. These jobs might seem like luxuries, but they do add value, like a great coffee, new clothes, or hassle-free luggage handling. But the service sector is much broader than it sounds. It includes everyone from call center workers to CEOs. Nowadays, finding a job outside this sector is tough, often requiring special certifications. Remember this point, it's important. The growth of service jobs and the rise of what some call bullshit jobs is kind of strange. You'd think the free market would eliminate jobs that don't contribute, right? But that's not the case. To understand why, we need to look at how modern economies sustain jobs. That may seem unnecessary but exist to justify themselves. Let's start with Soviet communism. The Soviet Union revered work as noble and dignified. Soviet roughly means a workers' council, and labor was a source of pride. This focus on labor caused issues. When there wasn't enough work for everyone, some people got pointless tasks. The goal was full employment no matter what. Factory managers hired loads of people, partly for the honor of overseeing many workers, and partly because they worried about future labor shortages. This led to jobs like endlessly counting inventory. While there are big differences between the modern West and 1950s Russia, there are also some unsettling similarities in how jobs are created and sustained. Have you heard about the concept of unnecessary jobs? It really started getting attention after anthropologist David Graeber wrote a book about bullshit jobs. He categorizes these jobs into 5 types. First is the flunkies. These are roles like doormen, receptionists, chauffeurs, and assistants. Their main purpose is to make others feel important. Often, technology could replace them if they're even needed at all. Then there are the duct tapers. These folks are fixing problems that could be permanently solved. Imagine an inventory manager who manually updates stock levels, something that could be automated or distributed among the staff. Graeber gives an example of a duct taper who spent all their time fixing mistakes of a so-called brilliant statistician. The real issue wasn't the duct taper's job, but the inefficient system that made it necessary. Next, we have the box tickers. They're the ones making companies look legitimate. Think about those who produce internal company newsletters that no one reads. These roles exist more for appearances than actual value. Then there are the goons. These jobs might actually have a negative impact. For example, in-house corporate lawyers or patent trolls. They're necessary in a sense, but do they really add value or just perpetuate legal battles? And the worst of the lot? Taskmasters. These are managers of people who don't really need managing. They might seem like they're helping, but often they're just creating more busy work for themselves and others. Some employees might even find their roles are a mix of these categories, particularly middle managers overseeing pointless departments. But why do these jobs exist, especially in capitalist systems? It's because of bureaucracy. Just like the Soviet Union created jobs to keep everyone employed, modern systems have their own ways of justifying unnecessary work. In our system, middle managers might hoard staff to seem important. We see it in corporate propaganda, like over-the-top LinkedIn posts, just like Soviet labor propaganda. Despite intentions, our work culture still insists on 40-hour weeks, often filled with pointless tasks, thanks to bureaucracy and regulations. And don't forget, the business world isn't completely free market. There are tons of regulations and laws, and big companies might even encourage this to make it harder for smaller competitors. Is there a solution? Perhaps we should be okay with not working a full 40-hour week if the work is done. Most jobs have some level of bullshit, but recognizing it is the first step. If you're stuck in a job with pointless tasks, you might have to bear with it for now. Maybe focus on a side hustle that's more fulfilling. Or just embrace it. Some people find satisfaction in their important-sounding titles and the routine tasks. So that's it for this video. If you found this discussion interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights on money, business, and tech.